All right, guys, let's just go ahead and catch up on some geopolitics. There's definitely a lot of things happening in Angola currently with Chinese nationals, okay? Just like how we in the United States of America tend to paint every single illegal immigrant that comes into our country and that is in our country as basically Trende Agua, the bad guys, the worst of the worst, right? When in reality, it is a absolutely small percentage of those people who are actually committing the crimes. Let's just be honest here. The overwhelming majority of illegal immigrants are going to not commit any type of secondary or tertiary offense. They're not, right? Because why would they want to get kicked out of the country that they risk everything to come to, if that makes any sense? All right. Now that's what we do. Now, I say this to say that's what Angola does, all right, specifically with the Chinese. All right. So now, when China decided to stop basically giving money to Angola based off of like oil-backed loans and things, the president of Angola has decided, well, we no longer like you then, Chinese people. That's what happened here. And so now, they now want to say, hey, listen, we can make an asset as agriculture. Like let's say our agricultural produce could be an asset. Can you loan on that? China's like, there's not enough money in that. Who would even offer that? But the president of Angola did, right? And it's not really a smart thing to do here, because your country was absolutely flourishing compared to what it was before the Chinese started giving you oil-backed loans in the context of this here. So now, I bring the Tren de Aragua and our illegal migration part up to basically bring this up now. Now, there have been a couple of people in Angola who have been associated with like cryptocurrency scams and like all types of cyber scams and things like that. And what they said, Angola, is like, bro, we're not Nigeria. Okay, we don't have a great uncle that's a prince and all this other stuff. Basically, that's what Angola said. We're not doing any type of cyber crime, at all here. We're not allowing it. And so the next step in the story, at least, we'll go ahead and mute that for a second. The next step in the story is that they started targeting all the Chinese people. And this all happened after the loan incident, because what? They're like, wait a second, if you're not gonna give us any money, we're gonna start looking into you guys. And then of course they find the big bad guys doing cryptocurrency scams and mining scams exclusively. And then they started targeting every single Chinese person in the country, to the point where the Chinese embassy in Angola decided that they need to not put out travel advisories specifically for Angola. And a lot of Chinese nationals are running for their life from the country here. Now, the people of Angola are saying, all similar to how we say in our country here, that these other people are invading us. So they're calling it an invasion, and they're literally targeting every single Chinese person in their country. But let's go ahead and jump to the video immediately. You guys sent this to me. This is a suggestion via a channel member. China cannot afford aid. Angola explodes in riots. Chinese seized everywhere. Shops madly looted. All right, let's go and jump into it. Let's see where this video takes us, guys.
Violence recently broke out in southwestern Angola, with large crowds taking to the streets and looting businesses. Chinese-owned companies and shops were among the main targets of the unrest. On July 28th, a video surfaced showing a mob violently attempting to break into a Chinese business. The footage showed individuals lifting a workbench and forcefully smashing the door. The chairman of the local Chinatown said, Chinese-owned shops were definitely looted. It only took about half a minute for them to clear out an entire store. From what we've been able to gather, at least a dozen shops were hit.
Well, here goes the usual suspect comment.
Brothers, take a look. Today, during the big rally, they're kicking all the local employees out of Chinatown. If we don't do this, these people might start working together, and that could be a huge problem. Now all the main doors are locked, so we're letting them leave through the small door. Comments on the video included reactions such as, this is worse than a zombie movie. Many schools still bring in people from these areas. Will Guangzhou see $0 shopping soon? Another commenter added, someone should hang the flag up already. That same day, resident Wang Xinjun of the China Peaceful Unification Promotion Association in Zimbabwe reported that a Chinese citizen had been shot and killed during one of the robberies. He explained that these robberies in Angola were premeditated, specifically targeting Chinese-run mining businesses. The criminals, believed to have inside help, carefully selected their targets, with most groups consisting of 5 or 6 armed individuals. Early morning on July 31st, robbers armed with rifles and handguns used ladders to scale fences and break into a Chinese business compound. They quickly subdued more than 10 local employees and free security guards, forcing several Chinese citizens into a room. The room was ransacked and some items were stolen. Authorities arrived around 1 a.m. after hearing gunshots, causing the robbers to flee. Fortunately, no Chinese citizens were injured in this robbery. The unrest began on July 1st, after the Angolan government announced a 33% hike in diesel prices. This increase led to a surge in taxi fares, making life even more difficult for residents. Taxis, where drivers bear all the costs, became increasingly unprofitable. This fuel price rise led to protests in the capital, Luanda. On July 28th, the violence escalated into nationwide riots. Protesters set up burning barricades, looted stores, vandalized ATMs, and torched trucks and businesses. The rioters focused their attention on Chinese-owned businesses, blaming them for worsening their lives and creating more poverty. Many also criticized the government for becoming more corrupt and oppressive. In response, local Chinese businesses barricaded their windows and doors using heavy-duty trucks and containers, adding barbed wire for added protection. By July 30th, the death toll had reached 22, with 197 people injured. The riots had been sparked by a taxi driver strike in Luanda on July 28th, which led to 4 deaths. Over the past 24 hours, police in Luanda arrested over 500 suspects involved in looting and destruction. Owners of Chinese businesses, CCP officials, and local Chinese workers in Angola have all reported a rise in violent attacks targeting Chinese people. In June, following a series of robberies involving Chinese citizens on the road and at business camps, the Chinese embassy in Angola issued a rare warning. They urged Chinese citizens and businesses in Angola to be aware of security risks, increase self-protection awareness, and respond appropriately to robbery and other violent crimes.
Yeah, guys, this is definitely called biting the hand that feeds you. All right, like understand what Angola was before China decided to basically step in here. You had no other country that was actually trying to help you, Angola. Like understand that to the depths of me here. There's not much that the African Union specifically can do to support your nation in any meaningful manner, let's say. So there was a country that was outside. Yeah, you sold your soul, you sold your ports, you sold everything you possibly could sell, your oil, in order to get them to basically give you money to facilitate and build your country. And the leaders of the country specifically pocketed it. All right. That's what they did. Okay. Let's just be truthful. Let's just be honest here. Let's just sit here and have a solid conversation here. The leaders of this country pocketed the money instead of actually building adequate roads throughout the country, not just all the major cities. You get what I mean here, guys? Because that's basically what they did here. They were like, we're going to go ahead and beautify, certain areas of Angola, but not work on any of the rural areas at all. Those are the ones who actually need more help, most likely than the ones that you're seeing on the screen here. And this is absolutely crazy. Okay, this is crazy what has happened here. I do not know when this is going to end because it still hasn't technically ended. They're still trying to basically remove as many Chinese people as humanly possible from the country by absolute terror, by means of terror. That's what they're doing here, guys. They have decided that they no longer want any type of, foreign aid or any type of immigration, any meaningful manner coming from, places that do not stereotypically look like them. It is an interesting thing that we're encountering here in 2025. I'm telling you this here. Very interesting.
The violence in Angola is part of a wider trend. In recent years, Chinese businesses and citizens across Africa have increasingly faced violent attacks.
The people
a recent case involved Misha, a businesswoman from Hebei, China, who had moved to Zambia to run a farm. She suddenly went missing. On August 2nd, Red Star News reported that Misha, who had been missing for a month, was confirmed dead. The suspect is a local manager she employed who remains on the run. Misha, originally from Jingzhou, Hebei, was born in 1968. She had worked as a broadcaster at a German company before entering international trade in 2010. She moved to Zambia in 2015, initially engaging in various trading businesses around Lusaka, and later settled in the southern province of Livingstone, where she ran a poultry and vegetable farm. During her time in Zambia, Ms. She was well connected with the local Chinese community. On the day she went missing, she had been chatting on WeChat with 2 Chinese businessmen and showed no signs of distress. After that, she disappeared, and neither her business partners nor her daughter in China could get in touch with her. On the morning of July 10th, Mr. Sun, the manager of the Oriental Swan Hotel in Livingston, visited Miss She's home in Mukuni village. He found the gate locked, 2 ducks had starved to death, and 2 dogs were emaciated. However, there was no sign of Miss She. A new local worker claimed he had been hired by the farm manager Andrew just 5 or 6 days earlier and had never met Miss She. Police later searched Miss She's home and 2 farms, finding her passport, Zambian green card, and cash missing. Her farm manager, Andrew, was nowhere to be found and his phone was unreachable. A local informant mentioned seeing Andrew driving Miss She's car on July 10th. The police sent him a message asking him to report to the station on July 12th, but he did not show up. On July 22nd, local police arrested Andrew's wife and found Miss She's guitar, car, and other belongings valued at about $400 in Andrew's home. However, due to a flat tire, the car could no longer be moved. When the police arrived, Andrew's wife's brother shouted a warning, allowing Andrew to escape into the nearby mountains. Police later learned that Andrew had a partner in Mukuni village, and the 2 were suspected of being involved in Miss She's kidnapping. On the afternoon of July 31st, local residents reported a foul smell near Livingston International Airport. Police went to the site and dug up a body, which was later confirmed by Miss She's daughter after identifying the clothes and photos of the body. Miss She's tragic fate in Zambia is not an isolated case. Official reports show that on May 29th, a Chinese-owned farm in Kitwe, Zambia's copper-belt province, was robbed by armed criminals, resulting in the death of a Chinese citizen. On March 20th, another robbery occurred at a Chinese enterprise in Zambia's copper-belt province's Chimbishi town, leaving 1 employee dead and another injured.
一名同胞在赞比亚不幸遇害身亡。这名遇害同胞进入一家农场。
In May, a fellow Chinese citizen was tragically killed in Zambia. This individual was running a farm. According to the current investigation, the attacker was a security guard employed at the farm, working with a former employee who had been fired. Basically, it was an inside job.
Right.
In Africa, whether you are running a factory or managing a business park, security is essential.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, without a doubt, like, be careful where exactly you go. So for example, even in Africa, I've traveled to about 85% of the nation, the country, not country, the continent. Guys, what's wrong with me today? Either way, so I've been to a good amount of the countries. I can definitely tell you this right now. You always want to make sure you can have some security, and I'm gonna give you a quick tip traveling through Africa, even Asia. Don't get this confused here. Africa and Asia, you want to make sure that you have security, obviously, but make sure you pay them half and half. If that makes any sense here. Like, listen, bro, I'm gonna give you half right now. Okay. And you're going to be here for all of these days, every time we go outside, we're going to walk around, et cetera, et cetera. And then right when we get to the airport, specifically as we're walking through, don't worry, I got you here. We're going to go ahead and give you the other half immediately. Never pay anything in full, never pay anything up front under any circumstance. Make sure you're utilizing your brain, your situational awareness, specifically in nations where you are perceived as where literally what you make in a day is equivalent to what they're making in a month. You understand what I'm saying here? You want to be very cautious in places like that. And just because I have my skin tone, let me tell you this right now, they do not consider me black in Africa. Okay, that's not a thing for them. They call me white. Apparently, I'm white in Africa. Be aware. And you're probably also going to experience the same thing if you have the similar skin tone in Africa. All right, because culturally, we are not the same, guys.
But lately, there have been multiple cases of security personnel working with outsiders to rob their employers.
Yep.
Some are aware of their employer's cash situation, while others have personal grievances seeking revenge. For Chinese people doing business in Africa, it's crucial to choose security companies carefully. You also need to check the backgrounds of your employees. Avoid handling large amounts of cash at your business location, and be cautious about letting your drivers or household staff know your whereabouts. It's important to install video surveillance, remote alarm systems, and emergency contact systems at both your workplace and home. Safety should never be taken lightly when you're abroad.
Not at all.
One user commented, "I left Guangxi and I tell people I'm Japanese, too scared to speak Mandarin. What's going on with our African brothers? Aren't Chinese people supposed to be untouchable in Africa? Why are we..."
No, not anymore. I would say, how about this here, bro? Let me answer that question. For the last 2 years, no chance. They're gunning for you guys. Right? And that's just the reality of the scenario here. They see some outside influence coming in, attempting to influence how their culture is moving. All right. And that's what they see. That's all they care about. And they're also not actually receiving any benefit from the investments you're making in the country. All that money is going to the top, and the top is not disseminating it to the bottom, bro. Right? So you're in their country, the top is corrupt, and they're taking everything, not doing a single thing for the people. And the people see this. That the reason why they're getting richer is because you're there. Well, the government is getting richer because you're in their country, right? But they're not seeing any benefits. They're only seeing the detriment. That's it. Like it comes down to like a crab in a barrel, like jealousy type of thing, that there are super rich people in the country getting all the money because you're, getting oil-backed loans, and they're not. And what people are starving and hungry. That's what's going on here, guys. It's corruption. And the people there are sick of the literal corruption. And I would say that's for a good amount of the countries in Africa that are specifically in dealings with China or have any loans from China specifically. And you better hope you do not live in a port city. If you live in a country that has a port, China's going to take that port, bro. Google it. You'll realize what I'm talking about here. It happens all the time here. They specifically give loans with like super terrible interest rates. The country people, the people in the country, they take these loans, pocket all the money, basically. They're going to pocket at least 99% of it, right? And then they're never going to pay it back. The country is basically on the ledge, let's say, for the loan itself, but they're never going to pay that loan back ever, right? So this one individual that's getting $1 billion sent to his bank account in Geneva, right? If that makes any sense here, or Cayman Islands, you get what I mean here. The country is on the ledge here, having to pay it. They'll never be able to pay it. So what does China do? Take the port. So it's one individual throwing the entire country underneath the bus here consistently. And the people know this. They're starting to pick up on these things here, guys. They're starting to. But all right. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let's do this. If you guys want to finish that video, I'll leave it in the comments here. But this was actually a solid one here. There are so many things happening outside of the United States of America in terms of news that's incredibly interesting. And I'm glad that when you guys sent this to me, because I follow things like this because it's intriguing, right? But all right, listen, guys, if you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I will catch you guys later. Bye.